When we think about resilience, we're often imagining how it is that someone's going to be able to overcome a challenge, a difficulty, or an adversity in their lives. But, resilience is not about having an absence of distress or difficulty. It really is about the ability to confidently face challenges, adapt, and grow as a result of these. So, it's not that resilient people don't struggle, but they actually have the capacity and the psychological tools to be able to successfully persevere and overcome challenges in their way. When talking about resilience with people, we often find it really helpful to ask this question. If resilience was an object, what would it be? When speaking with teachers and other psychologists and even parents about this, quite often the first thing people come back with is saying, well, resilience is like a bouncy ball. So it doesn't matter how hard you throw it, it's going to bounce back. Other people quite often say that, well, resilience, it's like Play-Doh. You can push it, mold it, transform it, but with some help, it will always go back to its original state. Or, as a result of that experience, we've created something that's better and stronger and more beautiful than it was before. One of the more unique ways of describing resilience that I really like is to say that resilience is like water, because it adapts and flows, and it's always going to find a way through, no matter what. Now, there are 3 ways that we can look at resilience in a practical kind of form. The first is really around how well we can cope or survive, which is thinking about how much of an immediate psychological or emotional impact that situation will have upon us. In this way, we're really thinking about how we can protect ourselves and shield us and minimize the harm caused from that adverse event. The second way to look at it is to think about bouncing back, which is seeing how close we can return to normal after we've been through a traumatic event. The third way is around how much we can bounce forward. So not just getting through the challenge in front of us, but actually what we can learn from it, how much we can actually grow as a result of that experience. Now, this last way of looking at resilience is an ideal outcome that many of us would always like to achieve. But it's hard. And to do this, we need a lot of different resilience capacity factors around us to be able to support us to bounce forward during those hard times. But resilience is not something that people either have or don't have. It's a combination of nature, nurture, and circumstance. For example, in a now famous study, a researcher called Lyubomirsky was able to show that adult resilience is comprised of the following 3 factors in roughly these proportions. They found that about 50% of resilience was innate or developmentally hardwired. About 40% of resilience was about intentional activities, skills and mindset, the things we can actually do to make a difference. And only about 10% of resilience was due to circumstantial events such as family income, community safety, chronic illness or housing. The fact that these last factors have such a small overall impact shows us that it's not really what happens to us, but it's how we react and we interpret those events that makes the biggest difference. Now, while we can scrutinize this research to look at the exact proportions within it, it's difficult to argue with the fact that there is a lot that we can do to change our resilience capacity. A fact which holds a lot truer for children, as we know that their resilience will be a lot less dependent upon those kind of developmentally hardwired factors, and a lot more based on their intentional skills and mindset. Now, while the outcome from building up children's resilience is improving their well-being, we also know that it does have a considerable impact upon raising children's attainment and improving their social relationships with others as well. So, given the importance of resilience to children's educational, social, and their emotional outcomes, it feels incredibly important that we do everything that we can to support them build up their resilience. With this in mind, let's take a look at all the different areas of children's resilience that we can affect positive change within.